The Boston Bruins finished near the bottom of the NHL in scoring last season. 28th overall in goals for. Clearly, offense was the biggest hole to fill heading into the offseason. But instead of chasing big-name goal scorers, the Bruins surprised everyone by targeting depth forwards. Two of those signings, Matěj Blümel and Steeves, could end up being the X factors the Bruins were looking for. Could either of them actually crack the lineup and bring the offense the Bruins desperately need? In this video, I'm breaking down who these players are, what they bring to the ice, and whether the Bruins really did enough to fix their scoring problems. And in the end, I want you to weigh in. Did the Boston Bruins make the right moves? Or did they miss the mark? Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. Let's start with Matěj Blümel, because his story is fascinating and it might surprise you how good he actually is. Blumel's path to Boston wasn't straightforward. He was originally drafted in the 4th round, 100th overall, by the Edmonton Oilers in 2019. At the time, he was playing in the USHL with the Waterloo Blackhawks and was seen as raw but promising winger with good hands and an offensive motor. Instead of jumping right to the NHL, he returned to Czechia and developed his game playing against men at a young age. That experience helped round out his game, and he became known as a strong skater with a nose for the net. In 2022, Blumel signed a 2-year entry-level contract with the Dallas Stars. He got a taste of NHL action, playing 13 games across 2 seasons where he scored 2 goals. It wasn't much, but Dallas fans and scouts noticed something. He had an ability to generate scoring chances, even in limited minutes. Where Blumel really broke out was in the AHL. Last season with the Texas Stars, he absolutely lit it up. 39 goals, 72 points in 67 games, leading the league in goals and finishing 2nd in points. That performance earned him the Willie Marshall Award for most goals in the AHL, as well as a spot on the first All-Star team. When his contract with Dallas ended, he became a free agent. Multiple teams showed interest, including Pittsburgh, but Blumel chose Boston. And here's the kicker. David Pastrnak personally called him and convinced him to sign with the Boston Bruins. That's not something you hear every day. Pastrnak reportedly told Blumel that Boston wanted him and that he could help them out. That's not something you hear every day. That's a superstar vouching for his fellow Czech. And it's a big deal because it shows the Bruins aren't just taking a flyer here. Boston signed Blumel to a 1-year deal at around $875,000 on a one-way contract. The one-way part, it's important. It means the Bruins are paying him an NHL salary whether he plays in Boston or he gets sent down to the AHL, which signals they expect him to be part of the NHL roster this season. So what kind of player is Blumel? At 6 foot and around 200 pounds, he's not huge, but he plays an aggressive north-south style. He thrives on the forecheck, pressures defenders, and most importantly, he goes to the dangerous areas. One of the most impressive stats from his limited NHL time, Blumel averaged 12.6 high-danger scoring chances per 60 minutes. That put him among the top 100 NHL forwards in that category, even though he was only playing about 9 minutes per game. In other words, when he's on the ice, the puck is heading towards the net. His strength? His shot. Quick release, accurate, great and tight. Forecheck, relentless, pressure, forces turnovers. Net presence, gets to the dirty areas. Physical edge, willing to battle. He does have his weaknesses though. Defensive consistency, needs to prove he can handle the NHL pace every night. Still, untested in a big role. If he can translate even part of his AHL scoring to the NHL, he could be a sneaky good addition for the Boston Bruins. Now, I want to talk about Steeves. Unlike Blumel, Steeves wasn't drafted. He went to the NCAA route, playing 3 seasons at Notre Dame. There, he developed into a smart, crafty forward with good hands and vision. After going undrafted, the Toronto Maple Leafs signed him in 2021. He became a reliable player in the AHL system, putting up steady numbers with the Toronto Marlies. In fact, last season, he was named to the AHL second All-Star team, showing that he's more than just an organizational depth. In the NHL, Steeves appeared in 14 games, recording 1 goal and 1 assist. Nothing flashy, but he hasn't had a consistent opportunity yet. Sound familiar? This offseason, the Bruins signed him to a 1-year, $850,000 deal. Unlike Blumel, his contract is a 2-way deal, meaning he can be moved between Providence and Boston without Boston paying him full NHL salary. That usually signals a player on the bubble, someone fighting for a roster spot. Steeves is a different type of player than Blumel. He's 5'11", 185 pounds, and plays more of a finesse game. He's a playmaker first with strong puck control and the ability to create space in offensive zones. He's not a burner, but he's agile and can make defenders miss with quick hands. His strength is his playmaking. He sees the ice well and he's a good passer. Great zone entries, comfortable carrying the puck in. His versatility can play the wing and center, but he does have his weaknesses as well. His defensive awareness can get caught out of position, which will be tough with the Boston Bruins because we know that they like to play a tight defensive game. First step speed needs to be quicker at the NHL level. And then again, his finishing ability, not a natural goal scorer. Steeves projects more as a depth forward who can provide secondary scoring offense if given sheltered minutes. He's unlikely to drive a line, but could be valuable as a plug-and-play option. What that tells me is he's probably going to be in Providence this year and, be counted on to be one of those guys that puts up scoring in the AHL, but it just might not translate to the NHL. So, between Blumel and Steeves, who has the better shot at making the Bruins roster? All signs point to Blumel. He has one-way deal, his AHL dominance, and Pasternak connection all suggest Boston is banking on him. Steeves, meanwhile, looks more like a depth signing, will compete in camp, but may start in Providence unless injuries or roster shuffling open a spot. And if you look at the depth of the Boston Bruins, that bottom six is got a ton of people there. So for me, Steeves making this roster, it has to be due to injuries. If Blumel cracks the opening right roster and plays a full season in a bottom six role or a top six role, probably bottom six, this is the Boston Bruins, he's realistically looking at 10 to 15 goals, 20 to 25 points. With some power play time or chemistry in the top 9, his upside could hit 15 to 20 goals with 30 plus points. For Steeves, if he earns NHL time, you're looking at 5 to 10 goals, 15 to 20 points is the likely range. More of a complementary piece than a driver. At the end of the day, the Bruins didn't make the flashy move fans were hoping for. They didn't land a top 6 sniper or a star center. But Blumel, they may have found a hidden gem, a player ready to break out in the NHL with help of countryman and mentor David Pasternak. And in Steeves, they added a versatile depth forward who can push for minutes and keep the internal competition strong. He's pretty much this year's version of Vinny Lettieri. The big question is, will this be enough for Boston to fix the scoring problem? Or are these just Band-Aid solutions while the Bruins wait for bigger moves down the line? Personally, I think Blumel is the one to watch. He has the numbers, the skill, and the opportunity. Steeves is more of a long shot, but could surprise if he finds the right fit. Now, it's your turn. Who do you think makes the Bruins roster? Blumel, Steeves, or maybe both? And do you think Boston did enough to fix their offense this offseason? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed the breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more Bruins analysis all season long.